There is a quiet worry that a lot of new rabbit owners in flats carry around, and almost nobody says it out loud. Does my home smell? Can my neighbors tell I have a rabbit? Is that faint whiff in the living room normal? Or is it getting worse? Living in an HDB flat means closed windows, aircon, humidity, and shared corridors. So the smell question feels bigger here than it would somewhere with a garden and a breeze. Let me put your mind at ease and give you a real routine. I'm a rabbit owner here in Singapore, not a vet. I keep my rabbit in a small flat, just like you, and I read the local groups so you do not have to. Smell is one of the most common quiet anxieties, so let us deal with it properly, because the truth is reassuring. A well-kept rabbit in a flat does not smell, and the few things that do smell are completely manageable. Start with the most important fact. Rabbits themselves are not smelly animals. A healthy rabbit is clean. It grooms itself constantly, like a cat, and its fur and body have very little odor. So if your flat smells of rabbit, it is almost never the rabbit, it is the we. Rabbit urine has a strong ammonia smell, and that is the entire source of nearly all rabbit-related odor in a home. Once you understand that, the whole problem becomes simple. Because you are not fighting the animal, you are managing one specific thing, the litter box. So the golden rule is this: cleaning beats fragrance every time. The instinct when something smells is to spray air freshener or buy scented litter to cover it. Do not. Scented products are too strong for a small animal living right on top of them, and they can irritate a rabbit's airways, especially in a closed flat. And they do not actually solve anything. They just layer perfume over ammonia. The real fix is frequency. A litter box that is cleaned often simply does not have time to build up a smell. Scoop daily, do a full litter change every couple of days, and the box stays fresh. Let me give you the actual routine, because the difference between a smelly flat and a fresh one is just this list done consistently. 1. Scoop the wet litter and poops from the box every single day, ideally morning and evening. 2. Do a complete empty and refill every 2 to 3 days, washing the tray. 3. Use an absorbent low-hour litter. Paper-based recycled litter or compressed wood pellets are both good. The wood pellets in particular soak up ammonia really well. 4. When you wash the tray, a rinse with diluted vinegar cuts the ammonia and the smell, far better than perfumed cleaner. That is it. Do that and the box is a non-issue. Now the Singapore-specific challenge. Because our environment makes smell harder than a temperate country. We live in closed boxes, windows shut against the heat, aircon running, very little cross breeze that traps any odor and lets it concentrate, where a flat with open windows and a garden breeze would just air it away. High humidity makes it worse because damp air holds and spreads smells. So we have to compensate with two things: more frequent cleaning and deliberate airflow. When the weather allows, open the windows for a while each day to flush the air. A fan helps move it. And if you use an air purifier, it can help with general freshness. Just keep it well away from blowing directly on the rabbit. Flooring matters a lot for smell control too. Hard floors, tile or vinyl are your friend. They wipe clean, they do not absorb urine, and they do not trap odor the way carpet and fabric do. If a rabbit has an accident on tile, you wipe it and the smell is gone. If it happens on carpet, the urine soaks into the fibers and the underlay, and that smell lingers and invites the rabbit back to the same spot. So for a flat rabbit, the less carpet and soft furnishing in its zone, the easier your life. Keep the rabbit's area on hard, wipeable floor wherever you can. Spaying and neutering plays a real role in smell too, and a lot of owners do not realize it. An unneutered rabbit, especially a male reaching adolescence, often has stronger smelling urine and may start spraying it on vertical surfaces to mark territory, which is far harder to clean and far smellier than a tidy box habit. Once a rabbit is neutered at the right age, that territorial spraying and the strong hormonal odor usually ease right off. I am a fellow owner, not a vet, So I will not tell you when or how. That is a conversation for a rabbit-savvy vet. But if a young rabbit has started spraying smelly urine up your walls, this is very often why, and it is worth raising with your vet. There is a diet and smell link worth knowing. A rabbit on the right diet, lots of grass hay, the correct amount of greens, limited pellets, tends to produce firmer droppings and more normal urine, which smell less. A rabbit fed too much sugary treat food, or the wrong things can get softer, smellier output, and even messy droppings that stick around its bottom, which really does smell. So a clean smelling rabbit and a healthy diet go together. If your rabbit's smell suddenly gets worse, the diet is one of the first things to look at. Though as you will see in a moment, a sudden change can also be a health flag. Let me talk neighbors directly, since that is the real fear. In practice, a properly kept rabbit produces almost no smell that travels beyond your own walls. The ammonia from a clean daily scoop box does not waft down the corridor. The situations where neighbors might notice are the ones where the box has been neglected for days, or where there is a health problem causing a strong smell, and both of those are within your control to catch and fix. So the answer to keeping neighbors happy is the same as keeping your own flat fresh, the daily routine. There is no special neighbor secret, just a clean box and good airflow. A quick word on what not to do, because people overcorrect. Do not bathe your rabbit to make it smell nicer. Rabbits should not be given water baths. It terrifies them and can be genuinely dangerous, and they do not need it. They clean themselves. Do not pile on scented sprays or plug in fresheners near the rabbit. And do not use scented or clumping cat litters in an attempt to mask odor. The clumping clay can harm a rabbit that nibbles it, and the scent is too harsh. Clean more, perfume less. That is the whole philosophy. Let me get into the litter choice a bit more, because the right litter does a lot of the smell work for you before you even start cleaning. Compressed wood pellet litter is a favorite among Singapore owners for exactly this reason. It is very absorbent, it soaks up the ammonia, and it is cost effective in a flat where you are changing it often. Paper-based recycled pellets work well too, and are soft and low dust. The key qualities you want are high absorbency and low dust, both for smell and for your rabbit's airways. Avoid the powdery, dusty litters and anything with added fragrance. And do not be stingy with the depth. A decent layer of litter in the tray absorbs far better than a thin scatter, which just lets urine pool and stink. There is also the matter of where the box lives and how the air moves around it. A litter box tucked into a dead corner with no airflow will smell more than the same box somewhere the air circulates. So think about putting a fan on gentle circulation in the room, not blowing on the rabbit, just keeping the air from going stagnant, which in our humid closed flats makes a real difference. And if you run the aircon, that circulation helps too. The goal is that no pocket of the flat becomes a still, warm, humid trap where odor concentrates. Moving air carries smell away and dries the area, and dry plus moving beats damp plus still every time. A small habit that quietly keeps the box fresher between food changes: sprinkle a fresh handful of clean litter or a little baking soda style absorbency in the box after each daily scoop, so the layer that the rabbit sits on stays dry. A wet, packed down box smells far more, and the rabbit may start avoiding it, which then causes accidents outside it. Keeping the working surface dry between changes is a tiny effort that pays off all day. One more practical habit: deal with the bin. A lot of the lingering rabbit smell in a flat is not the box at all. It is the rubbish bin you scoop the waste into, sitting in the kitchen filling up over days in the heat. So empty the bin you put rabbit waste in frequently, ideally daily, and use a lidded bin, because a closed flat in our climate turns a slowly filling bin of soiled litter into its own smell source. People scrub the litter box spotless and then wonder why the flat still smells, and it is the bin in the corner. Close the loop, scoop often, and bin it out often, and the whole flat stays fresh. Now the health part, and this is the one I really want you to hold on to. A clean, well-kept rabbit does not smell strongly, so a sudden, strong, new smell from your rabbit is not just a hygiene issue, it can be a warning sign. A wet, soiled, smelly bottom can mean the rabbit is unwell or unable to keep itself clean, and that can attract flies, which in our climate is genuinely dangerous. A sharp change in the smell of the urine, or urine that looks very different, can also signal a problem worth checking. So if your rabbit suddenly smells bad despite your normal cleaning, especially with a messy or wet rear end, that is not a reason for more air freshener, it is a reason to see a rabbit savvy vet. So to bring it together, rabbits themselves are not smelly, the smell is urine. So manage the litter box and you manage almost everything. Clean more, never perfume more, scoop daily, full change every 2 to 3 days. Use absorbent paper or wood pellet litter, and rinse with diluted vinegar. Fight our closed flat conditions with deliberate airflow and hard, wipeable floors. Feed a good hay-based diet for firmer, less smelly output, and treat any sudden strong smell or a soiled bottom as a health flag, not just a cleaning job. I am a fellow owner, not a vet, so if your rabbit suddenly smells wrong, has a wet or dirty bottom, or its urine changes, the move is a rabbit-savvy vet rather than a guess. Not every clinic here sees rabbits with confidence, which is why we keep a directory of rabbit-friendly vets in Singapore on singaporerabbit.com, alongside plain dated local advice for our flats and our climate. We also send a free weekly digest for Singapore rabbit owners, so come join us there. Next time I want to talk about haze season and air quality, and what those hazy PSI heavy days mean for a small animal indoors. If you are figuring out rabbit life in Singapore, subscribe so you do not miss it, and I will see you in the next one.